I'm Kelly Carter, and this is Another Act.
Seeing the reactions of the babies and the children, of the Black community's reactions to seeing themselves on screen as a princess, I mean, that has been the most impactful to me.
Halle, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm lovely. How are you doing today?
I can't complain. I get to talk with you. So let's go ahead and start here. By now, obviously, you have to be aware of the significance of your representation as Ariel. What does that mean to you?
It means everything for me to be able to represent this new version of Ariel for our generations to come. As a Black woman, I mean, I feel so seen, so heard, and being able to watch myself in this iconic character I've always known and loved since I was a little girl. And I mean, I feel like there were princesses before me, like Anika Rose and Brandy, and so many Black women pioneers who really broke down those doors for me to even be here today. So to continue on that legacy is truly an honor for me.
I loved hearing you talk about Anika and Brandy. Let's flip this a little bit. If little girls and adult women are seeing themselves on a big screen through you, when did you first feel seen? What was that project and how old were you? Where were you and what was that like for you?
Wow, I think I'll definitely start with Brandy as Cinderella. I remember watching it with my sisters over and over again and just being obsessed with Brandy, number one, because we loved her and everything, and Moesha and all her albums and everything she did. And so being able to see her as a princess was so cool. And then, Anika Rose as Princess Tiana. I think that came out when I was a teenager, like around 13-ish years old, I think. And hearing her voice and seeing the essence of who she was in that character as Tiana was so beautiful. And, we're just like, it was moments of wow, just so cool, iconic moments for us.
Yeah, how did this experience with The Little Mermaid change things for you with regards to your acting career moving forward? And I ask that because this wasn't just an acting job, and I think you know that. This really is a cultural shift. It's something that will help move the needle of your progression in Hollywood that much more.
Yes, I really truly do think that this changes how I say yes moving forward because I think for this film it was a beautiful shock to me that I was going to be able to take on this role and play Ariel. And I think for the essence of me as Halle, I think it was really validating to be able to be seen and said, you are perfect for this role and you deserve to be in these spaces. And I think that was something that I needed for the little girl in me. And I definitely think it's opened a can of worms inside of me where I want to do more projects like this. I would want to revisit more movies with songs and then with musical and incorporating the elements of singing and acting into one. And, it's definitely inspired me for the future.
See, and this is the only controversial question that I'm going to ask you today. What happens to your music career at this point? Because Hollywood literally is not going to let it go. Coming out of that premiere, critics and consumers of the film, and obviously looking at the box office and the results right now, they're saying that this is one of Disney's best live-action films ever. And they were blown away by the work that you turned in. This industry is just not going to graciously send you back to music. What happens to that part of you?
Well, thank you so much for that, firstly. I think that I really am just gonna see what happens. I'm not sure. I think I still have such a passion for music. I've been working on my own solo music, and I hope to put that out sometime later this year. But also would love to do more projects like this. I think whatever path God has me on, I'm just gonna keep rolling down and seeing what happens.
When did you know that this was the journey that you wanted to take as an actor specifically? And I'm obviously asking that because when we were first introduced to you and your sister as singers, and then you popped up in Grownish, and I remember I was like, yes, they both are very good at this. And I want to see more of this. And I feel like that's what, was unexpected for a lot for you guys to move in that direction. So how did that happen for you?
Yes. Well, I think it was a really natural transition and one that we both didn't really expect. You know, we've been used to singing and being on the road from a very young age. That's our comfort zone. We know how to perform and close our eyes and belt and that to all be good. And this acting world has really opened up something great for both my sister and I. My sister is doing incredible movies as well, like Praise This, she was just in, and Swarm, and I'm so very proud of her and her album and Pieces. So I think it's really beautiful to be able to combine all these things that we love together and do what we love for a living, honestly.
When did you know that you were really in your zone as an actor? Music is different in that case because you have a live audience that can respond to you and you kind of know when you nail it. But when did you know you were doing the right things as an actor? Was it a scene? Was it a role? Was it a conversation with the director? What was it?
You know, I think it truly was watching this film for the first time. I think you go into it working so hard on it, putting so much effort and blood, sweat, and tears, but you honestly, it's kind of a mystery. You don't know how it will turn out, especially, looking from the outside in. As myself, I was very curious to see what it would turn out like, and I think I felt proudest of myself when I saw it all come together and watched the movie for the first time. At the first screening I was just like crying for the first 30 minutes because I was in disbelief that I was able to do something like this. I surprised myself in many different ways and was ultimately just grateful to be involved in this experience.
Was this one of the scariest things that you've done so far?
Oh yeah, for sure, by far. One of the scariest things I've ever done because suddenly I was living in London. I was by myself, away from my sister, my family that we never have been apart for longer than 3 days, let alone cross the oceans. So it was definitely a beautiful kind of independent journey for me. I call it like my own little mermaid college because I never had gotten to experience like going away to college because we would be on the road so much touring. So yeah, it was definitely a different experience for me.
What kept you in it? Like, what kept you getting through some of those scarier moments?
I think what kept me in it was calling my sister, my brother, and then also my kitten that I got when I was in the middle of filming. His name was Poseidon. He was a gift from my siblings, and he is my angel baby, my child now. And so I feel like just leaning on my loved ones for support really got me through this time.
You know, this is such a weird question to ask you next, but I have to ask it because I know that this is going to be such a colossal moment. It already is for you in your career, and you're really just getting started. But how do you possibly top this? Because I would imagine that even if you aren't looking at your next projects, you're already feeling the pressure of where you're going to go and what your next move is going to be.
You know, honestly, I just am putting all my trust in God and allowing whatever happens to happen. I think this was such a beautiful open door for me that I was able to walk through. And now that this is all happening and we're getting to see the fruits of our labor and this is being birthed into the world, I think we can all collectively sigh a sigh of relief after and then just figure out what's next. I think it's gonna be something special though, for sure.
I mean, yeah, the color purple's on the horizon. So here's my last question for you. What's the victory for you in this? What is the thing that you would really love for families or anyone consuming this to say when they're walking out of the aisle, having watched this for the third time or having watched this at home with their families? What's that golden nugget for you that's going to say to yourself, this is why I said yes?
Wow, I think there are many golden nuggets in the essence of this film, but for me, it's really been seeing the reactions of the babies and the children, of the Black community's reactions to seeing themselves on screen as a princess. I mean, that has been the most impactful to me, to the little girl within me that makes me feel like proud of the work that we've done with this film. And I hope that when people leave the theaters, they feel such inspiration and joy and love and happiness and go after their dreams and their wants in life, much like Ariel did. And although some of these things can be really scary and tough sometimes in life, it's beautiful that as long as you try, you can always come out on top and see what's next for you.
I think your hope is going to come to fruition. I appreciate you so much for today. Continued success.
Thank you very much.